Welcome to Crime Scene Chronicles, where we unravel the most gripping true crime stories. If you're a fan of captivating mysteries and real-life tales of betrayal, secrets, and tragedy, you've come to the right place. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps us bring you more stories like this. And we'd love to have you as part of the Crime Scene Chronicles community. This story keeps you hooked. Leave us a like and share your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. A young woman full of hope and dreams leaves everything she knows behind. She steps onto a plane, leaving her home in Russia, her family, her friends, her entire life for a promise. The promise of love, happiness, and a fresh start. But what started as a dream turned into a nightmare. Anna Rapkina's journey wasn't just about love. It became a tangled web of betrayal, secrets, and tragically murder. How could this happen? Who was responsible? And how did a young woman with so much to live for end up in such a dark place? This is a story that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about trust, loyalty, and the human heart. Stay with us until the very end as we uncover the chilling details of Anna Rapkina's fatal journey. Let's begin at the very start of Anna's journey. A story of love, hope, and the fateful decisions that led her into the darkness. Anna Rapkina was a woman who believed in dreams. At just 27 years old, she was building a life for herself in Russia, her home country. She worked as an accountant, a job that required precision, focus, and dedication. And Anna had all of these qualities and more. Anna was born into a close-knit family. Her parents, hardworking and traditional, had raised her with strong values. They instilled in her a sense of responsibility and kindness. Her father was a quiet, steady man who worked tirelessly to provide for the family, while her mother was warm and nurturing, the heart of their household. Anna often said her mother was her greatest role model, a woman who balanced love and discipline with effortless grace. Anna also had a younger brother who looked up to her as a source of wisdom and guidance. Their bond was unshakable, forged through years of shared memories, playing in the snow as children, celebrating holidays together, and leaning on each other during tough times. To her family, Anna wasn't just a daughter or sister. She was a source of light, someone they could always count on. But while Anna loved her family deeply, she also felt the pull of something greater. She wanted more than the life her small town could offer. A life that felt predictable and, at times, limiting. She dreamed of stepping out into the world, of exploring new places, meeting new people, and most of all, finding a love that would sweep her off her feet. Her family supported her dreams, even if the thought of her leaving home made them anxious. They knew Anna was independent and strong, and they trusted her judgment. What none of them could have predicted, though, was that Anna's search for love and adventure would lead her down a path filled with deception and danger. A path that would take her far from the safety of her family and into the arms of a man who wasn't what he seemed. One cold winter evening, Anna decided to do something she hadn't done before. She signed up for an international dating site. It wasn't an easy decision. Anna was a private person by nature, someone who valued meaningful face-to-face connections. But she couldn't shake the feeling that her life was passing her by, that the love she dreamed of was out there waiting for her, if only she could find it. So she took a deep breath, filled out her profile, and hit submit. It didn't take long for her to catch the attention of a man named William Hargrove. William was in his mid-30s and lived in Oregon in the United States, a place Anna had only seen in movies and dreamed about visiting. His profile was filled with photos of him hiking in the woods, cooking in his kitchen, and smiling alongside friends. He described himself as a simple man with a love for the outdoors, good food, and meaningful relationships. For Anna, this felt like fate. William's messages were warm and engaging, and he seemed genuinely interested in her life. He asked her about her favorite childhood memories, her favorite foods, and even the little things that made her happy, like the smell of fresh flowers or the sound of rain. Anna found herself smiling every time she opened her inbox, eager to see what William had written. Their connection grew quickly. Soon they were talking every day, exchanging stories about their lives and sharing their hopes for the future. William told Anna about Oregon, describing it as a beautiful, peaceful place filled with endless possibilities. Anna, in turn, shared her dreams of building a life full of love, adventure, and happiness. For the first time in a long time, she felt like someone truly understood her, like she had found a kindred spirit. When Anna told her family about William, their reactions were mixed. Her mother, ever the protector, was hesitant. She worried about her daughter moving so far away to be with someone she had never met in person. "What do you really know about him?" she asked gently. Anna reassured her, saying that William was kind and sincere and that she had never felt so connected to anyone before. Her father, though quieter, expressed similar concerns. "It's a big step, Anna," he said one evening over tea. "Just be very careful." Her brother, on the other hand, was excited for her. "This could be the start of something amazing," he said, his youthful optimism mirroring Anna's own hopes. Despite their reservations, Anna's family chose to support her decision. They trusted her instincts and knew she had always been thoughtful in her choices. But as Anna prepared to leave, her mother couldn't help but feel a pang of unease, a mother's intuition whispering that something wasn't right. With her family's bittersweet blessings, Anna packed her belongings, said emotional goodbyes, and boarded a plane to the United States. Her heart was full of hope, but the reality waiting for her in Oregon was far from what she had imagined. What started as a journey toward love and happiness would soon take a dark and sinister turn. What secrets was William hiding? And how did Anna's dream of love become her worst nightmare? Stay with us as we continue unraveling this heartbreaking story. As Anna settled into her new life in Oregon, she believed she had found the happiness she had been searching for. What she didn't know was that the man she had traveled halfway across the world for, William Hargrove, was not the person he appeared to be. Behind his seemingly charming and caring persona lay a web of lies, manipulation, and deceit. William was not a free man emotionally or otherwise. He was in a long-term relationship with another woman, Michelle Chavez, a fiery and assertive individual who had no intention of stepping aside for anyone, let alone Anna. Michelle and William had been together for years, sharing an on-again, off-again relationship filled with passion and volatility. Despite their frequent arguments, Michelle still considered William hers. Michelle had no idea that William had been communicating with Anna or that he had invited her to move to Oregon. To William, juggling two relationships seemed like a manageable challenge, at least at first. He believed he could keep his relationship with Michelle intact while exploring the possibility of something new with Anna. But as time went on, his double life became increasingly difficult to conceal. Michelle began to notice subtle changes in William's behavior, his distracted demeanor, the way he would suddenly end phone calls or become evasive when asked about his day. When Michelle finally confronted him, the truth came out. William confessed that he had been talking to another woman, someone who had now moved to Oregon to be with him. Michelle was furious. She felt betrayed, humiliated, and above all, determined not to lose William. She made it clear that if he wanted to remain in her life, he had to end things with Anna, immediately. "You can't have both of us," Michelle reportedly told him. "It's me or her. Make a choice." For William, this ultimatum presented a dilemma. On one hand, he had feelings for Anna, whose optimism and trust in him were unwavering. On the other hand, Michelle represented familiarity and stability. Torn between two women, William made a series of decisions that would ultimately have devastating consequences. While William was wrestling with his double life, Anna was filled with excitement and hope. Her arrival in the United States felt like the start of a beautiful new chapter. She imagined a future where she and William would build a life together, a life filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. When Anna first stepped off the plane in Oregon, she was greeted by William, who smiled warmly and embraced her. For Anna, this was the moment she had been waiting for, the culmination of months of anticipation. She felt a sense of relief and joy, believing that she had made the right choice by leaving her life in Russia behind. Oregon was a world away from Anna's small town in Russia. The lush greenery, towering trees, and crisp air were unlike anything she had ever experienced. William showed her around, pointing out his favorite spots and sharing stories about his life. For a while, everything seemed perfect. But beneath the surface, cracks were already beginning to form. As Anna settled into her new surroundings, she began to notice subtle inconsistencies in William's behavior. He would often leave abruptly, claiming he had errands to run or people to meet. At first, Anna didn't think much of it. She trusted William and believed he was simply adjusting to the changes in his own life. What Anna didn't know was that William's absences were often spent with Michelle, who was growing increasingly impatient with his inability to end things with Anna. Michelle viewed Anna as an intruder, someone who had disrupted her life and taken what was rightfully hers. Her anger and jealousy began to boil over, fueling the tension between the three of them. One evening, William found himself face to face with Michelle, who demanded answers. "When is she leaving?" Michelle asked, her voice sharp with frustration. William hesitated, unsure of how to respond. He cared for Anna, but he also feared losing Michelle, who had been a constant presence in his life for years. Michelle's patience had run out. She gave William an ultimatum: end things with Anna or their relationship was over. The pressure mounted as William tried to navigate the impossible situation he had created. He began to make promises to Michelle, assuring her that he would take care of it. But in reality, William was stalling, unable to make a definitive choice. Meanwhile, Anna remained unaware of the storm brewing around her. She continued to make plans for her future with William, blissfully ignorant of Michelle's presence in his life. She believed in their love and was eager to build a new life together. But the truth was closing in, and it was only a matter of time before the situation spiraled out of control. William's indecision and Michelle's growing anger set the stage for a tragedy that would shock everyone involved. The love triangle had become a ticking time bomb, and when it finally exploded, the consequences would be devastating. What did William do to resolve the ultimatum? And how did this tangled web of lies and betrayal lead to Anna's untimely death? Stay with us as we delve deeper into this chilling true crime story. In the days leading up to Anna's murder, the tension surrounding William's double life had reached a boiling point. On the surface, William appeared calm, but inside he was a man torn apart by conflicting emotions. He was caught between two women, both of whom expected his loyalty. Michelle Chavez, fiery and relentless, demanded that he end his relationship with Anna immediately. Meanwhile, Anna, full of hope and optimism, was making plans for a future she believed was secure. For William, each passing day became more unbearable. Michelle was growing increasingly impatient, and her ultimatums became sharper, more insistent. "It's her or me, William," she would say. "Make a decision." These words echoed in William's mind, amplifying his stress and desperation. He knew he couldn't keep stalling, but the thought of losing either woman was too much for him to bear. While William wrestled with his indecision, Anna remained blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around her. She was busy planning their future, envisioning a life filled with love and happiness. Anna would talk about finding a job in Oregon, exploring the scenic beauty of her new home, and even starting a family someday. To her, everything seemed perfect, or at least, it would be once William sorted out a few personal issues he had vaguely mentioned. But there were moments when Anna couldn't shake a strange feeling of unease. William's behavior had become increasingly erratic. He would leave without explanation, avoid certain questions and at times seem distant. Anna wanted to believe that these were just small bumps in the road, things that would smooth out as they settled into their new life together. She trusted William and never suspected the darkness lurking beneath the surface. Michelle, however, wasn't waiting for things to smooth out. She had reached her breaking point. She pressured William relentlessly, calling and texting him constantly, demanding to know what he was going to do about Anna. William, feeling trapped and cornered, began to spiral. He knew he had to act, but he also knew that no decision would leave everyone happy or unscathed. On April 17, 2017, the events set in motion by William's double life reached their tragic conclusion. That morning, William contacted Anna and suggested they go for a drive. He told her he wanted to show her a beautiful, secluded spot outside of town, a place where they could talk and enjoy some quiet time together. Anna, ever trusting, agreed without hesitation. The drive itself was uneventful, with William making small talk to keep Anna at ease. As they left the town behind and entered a more remote, wooded area, Anna couldn't help but admire the scenery. "It's so peaceful out here," she remarked, smiling at William. But beneath his calm exterior, William's mind was racing. He knew what he was about to do, and every mile they drove felt like a step closer to the point of no return. When they arrived at the secluded spot, William parked the car and led Anna to a quiet clearing. He told her he wanted to talk about their future, about where their relationship was headed. Anna, still unaware of the danger she was in, listened intently, her heart filled with hope. And then, without warning, everything changed. William pulled out a shotgun he had brought with him and aimed it at Anna. The realization of what was happening must have hit her like a wave, but before she could react, the gun fired. The shot rang out through the quiet forest, and Anna collapsed to the ground. The dream she had cherished, the life she had imagined, all of it ended in an instant. William fled the scene, leaving Anna's lifeless body behind. Hours later, a passerby discovered her in the remote clearing and called the authorities. The sight was devastating. A young woman, full of life and potential, left to die in such a cruel and senseless way. The discovery of Anna's body marked the beginning of a meticulous investigation. Detectives quickly began piecing together the events leading to her death, and it didn't take long for the evidence to point directly to William Hargrove. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was the shotgun itself. Investigators traced the purchase of the weapon back to William, who had bought it just days before the murder. Receipts from the store, as well as surveillance footage, confirmed that he had acquired the gun and ammunition specifically for this purpose. Shell casings found at the crime scene matched the ammunition William had purchased, further solidifying the link between him and the murder. But perhaps the most compelling evidence came from William's own actions. In the days following the crime, he displayed a level of nervousness and paranoia that raised red flags for those around him. Detectives also uncovered a series of text messages and phone records that revealed the extent of Michelle Chavez's influence on William. These messages painted a picture of a man under immense pressure, torn between his desire to please Michelle and his fear of losing control over the situation. While Michelle denied any direct involvement in the murder, her role in pushing William to make a choice could not be ignored. With the evidence stacked against him, William was arrested and charged with Anna's murder. The investigation had uncovered the cold, calculated nature of his actions, leaving little doubt about his guilt. But what about Michelle? Did she escape justice entirely? And how did William's trial play out in court? Stay with us as we delve into the aftermath of this chilling case. The trial of William Hargrove was nothing short of dramatic, filled with emotional testimony, damning evidence, and lingering questions about the role Michelle Chavez played in the events leading to Anna Rapkina's death. The prosecution's case was clear and relentless. William had planned and executed Anna's murder to appease Michelle, who had issued him an ultimatum to choose between the two women. Prosecutors painted William as a manipulative and selfish individual who valued his convenience over human life. They presented the shotgun and shell casings as undeniable evidence of premeditation. The timeline of events leading to the murder, William's purchase of the weapon, his drive with Anna to the remote location, and his attempt to flee the consequences, made it clear that this was no accident. But perhaps the most chilling evidence came from the digital trail William had left behind. Prosecutors revealed text messages and phone records between William and Michelle, which showed the intense pressure Michelle placed on him. Messages like, "When will this end? And you know what you need to do," demonstrated that Michelle was fully aware of the situation and actively pushing William toward a resolution. When it came time for William's defense, his legal team attempted to shift the narrative. They argued that the murder was not premeditated but rather a tragic accident. William himself took the stand, claiming that he had brought the shotgun to the clearing to scare Anna into leaving willingly, not to harm her. He insisted that the gun went off by mistake during a heated conversation. But this defense didn't sit well with the jury. The forensic evidence contradicted William's story. The angle of the gunshot, the distance from which it was fired, and the lack of any struggle at the scene all pointed to a deliberate act. Furthermore, the emotional testimonies from Anna's family, who spoke of her dreams and the love she had for William, drove home the devastating impact of his actions. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury returned with their verdict. William Hargrove was found guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom was silent as the judge delivered the sentence: life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Anna's family, it was a bittersweet moment. Justice had been served, but no sentence could ever bring Anna back or erase the pain of her loss. As William was led out of the courtroom in handcuffs, he avoided eye contact with Anna's family. His demeanor was one of resignation, as though he had finally come to terms with the gravity of what he had done. But questions still lingered, questions about Michelle Chavez and her role in the events that led to Anna's death. Despite the evidence of her involvement, Michelle Chavez was never charged with any crime. Prosecutors argued that while Michelle's texts and demands may have influenced William, There was no direct evidence linking her to the planning or execution of Anna's murder. She had not been present at the scene, nor had she explicitly instructed William to kill Anna. This lack of tangible proof allowed Michelle to walk away without facing any legal consequences. The public reaction to this was mixed. Many felt that Michelle had escaped justice and that her role in the tragedy had been downplayed. Online forums, social media discussions, and even news outlets debated the ethical and legal implications of her actions. Could someone who pushed another person to commit a crime truly be considered innocent? And where should the line be drawn between influence and accountability? For Anna's family, Michelle's freedom was a bitter pill to swallow. They believed that she bore significant responsibility for what had happened and that her actions, while not criminal in the eyes of the law, were morally reprehensible. But without concrete evidence, there was little they could do to pursue justice against her. In the end, Michelle Chavez's role in this tragedy remains a haunting question. Did she truly push William over the edge, or was she simply an unwitting catalyst in a situation that spiraled out of control? And most importantly, could Anna's life have been saved if Michelle and William had made different choices? These are questions that may never be fully answered, but they linger in the minds of everyone touched by this heartbreaking story. But what was the aftermath of this trial? How did Anna's family cope, and what lessons can we learn from her tragic fate? Stay with us as we reflect on the legacy of this case in the next segment. For Anna's family, the loss was incomprehensible. To them, Anna wasn't just a victim in a true crime story, she was a daughter, a sister, a beloved friend who had been taken from them far too soon. Her parents, who had watched her leave for the United States with hope and excitement in her eyes, were now left to grapple with the devastating reality that they would never see her again. Anna's mother, in a tearful statement to the press, described her daughter as a beacon of light in their family. She had so many dreams, her mother said, her voice trembling with emotion. She wanted to see the world, to find love, to build a life full of happiness. She didn't deserve this. No one does. Her father, typically a reserved and quiet man, struggled to put his feelings into words. "We trusted her decision," he said softly. "She believed in people, maybe too much. She thought she found someone who loved her. But instead, she found someone who destroyed her." For Anna's younger brother, the loss was particularly difficult. He had always looked up to her, relying on her advice and drawing strength from her unwavering optimism. "She was my role model," he said in an interview. "She taught me to chase my dreams. But now, I don't know how to move forward without her." The family's grief was compounded by the knowledge that Anna's life had been stolen in such a senseless and cruel manner. They turned their pain into a quiet mission to warn others about the dangers of trusting too quickly and the risks that can come with seeking love online. Anna's story raises important questions about the complexities of human relationships in the digital age. In today's world, where connecting with someone across the globe is as simple as sending a message, the boundaries between trust and caution often blur. For Anna, the allure of finding love and a fresh start outweighed the potential risks. She believed in the sincerity of William Hargrove's words, never imagining that they could mask such dark intentions. But William's actions weren't just a betrayal of Anna's trust. They were a sobering reminder of the dangers of emotional manipulation. Throughout their relationship, William presented himself as someone he wasn't. He built a persona designed to draw Anna in, to make her feel safe and loved, even as he juggled a second relationship and hid his true intentions. Michelle Chavez's role further highlights the destructive power of jealousy and possessiveness. Her constant pressure on William to choose escalated an already volatile situation, ultimately pushing him to commit an irreversible act. While Michelle didn't pull the trigger, her influence cannot be ignored. It's a stark reminder of how emotional manipulation, even indirectly, can lead to devastating consequences. Anna's case is also a cautionary tale about the risks of online relationships. While many people have found love and connection through the internet, it's important to approach these relationships with caution. The anonymity of the digital world can make it easy for individuals to present themselves in misleading ways, hiding critical aspects of their lives or intentions. For anyone considering such a relationship, Anna's story serves as a reminder to prioritize safety, trust, but above all, verification of intentions. As we close Anna's tragic story, I want to ask you, our viewers, what would you do if you found yourself in Anna's shoes? If someone you loved and trusted began to act suspiciously, would you question it? Or would your faith in them blind you to the red flags? And what about William's actions? Could they have been prevented if someone in his life had intervened? Was there a moment, one critical decision, that could have stopped this tragedy before it unfolded? Anna's story challenges all of us to think about the relationships we form, the trust we place in others, and the boundaries we set to protect ourselves. It also reminds us of the importance of listening to our instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. And while love is a beautiful and transformative force, it should never come at the expense of our safety or well-being. Anna Rapkina was a woman full of dreams, a bright light extinguished far too soon. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastating consequences that can arise when it's broken. As we reflect on her life and legacy, let's honor her memory by learning from her story and sharing it with others. Because in doing so, we might just prevent another tragedy like this from happening again. We encourage you to engage with us here at Crime Scene Chronicles. Your voice matters, and your thoughts help us keep these important stories alive. Please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment below, and let us know your thoughts. What would you have done in Anna's situation? How do you think tragedies like this can be prevented? We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to Crime Scene Chronicles and turn on notifications so you never miss another gripping story. We bring you in-depth true crime content, uncovering the darkest corners of the human experience and shining a light on stories that need to be told. Thank you for joining us today. As we close this chapter, let's remember Anna not for the way her life ended but for the person she was, full of dreams, love, and hope. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and we'll see you in the next episode of Crime Scene Chronicles.